Hello everybody. In this course I will be explaining about some examples for objects and classes in C++, and I hope this will be very helpful. So we are going to work in procedural form and I will be explaining you everything step by step. So let's get into the game. So we have something called as a preprocessor header, which is a basic mechanism. So let's get with include the IO stream and oops, my mouse just alright. So IO stream, and we're gonna go ahead and add one more preprocessor header just in case. It's gonna be include and that's gonna be Conio. Wait, include, we're just gonna add some funny math.h. In case you didn't know, math.h also exists, but we're not gonna do any math today, so we're just adding for fun. Okay, so we're gonna add a using namespace, and we're gonna add a name to it. Now, okay, so this is basically the preprocessor header basically means that you're actually getting the input output. So what does IO mean, right? IO certainly means input output, and you're trying to get the functions from my stream header and use it in C++. And the same goes for math.h. So you have the separate math.h file which has many functions, and you're using these functions for C++, which means that definitely these preprocessor header and the C++ are separate, but you're going to use these functions in C++ and C programming. Alright, so we're going to add something called as int main, and we're going to, oh whoops, that's going to be, okay, that's going to be at the bottom, so yeah, we will need it. Alright, what's going to be at the top is here. So class, as I showed you a video, we're going to write 12, so class 12, and you do not have to write anything after that. So this is going to be pretty much it. Alright, the next thing is we're going to create a open braces. Now you see, when I create this open braces, a closed braces is also created with a semicolon or semicolon. So the closed braces with the semicolon is created, which means that whenever there is a class name, you see, whenever there's a class name, there is always a closed braces, which means that the class starts from this braces, starts from this brace and ends over here. That's the limit for the class. So whenever I type in here, it doesn't really matter because that's not within the class. And if you want to use or access something within this region, you always have to use a scope resolution operator to access the elements from the class to this portion, which is outside the class. So if you're using some features, some things within the class, well, scope resolution operator is not used. That is why we use scope resolution operator when we are in need or when we have to access some of the things. Alright, let's continue our code and write some functions, or not functions really, but we're just going to write integer, say objects within the class 12 where clock and board and some things. So just going to add some things, say number of clocks or equal to 1, the number of board, or say, let's say books were equal to 12, let's say 12 books in that room. Belonging to class 12, we had, say, integer number of chairs, so number of chairs which were equal to about, say, let's go for 23, which is, I guess, too much for a smaller class, but let's assume this class is big. Alright, so that's our first reference. We have created some data types. What are these data types? These are integers. Integers means numbers. So we are giving some names and we are associating these with numbers. So that's as simple as a pi. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and continue our code. Okay, now here what we're going to do is we're going to assemble some things. We're going to create some functions. Now this one right here, we're going to keep it public. So the place where you write public is here. So this is public. That means anybody can come in and access can look at those clocks, the books, and the number of chairs. Okay. Now we're going to create some functions. There's going to be void function. There's going to be void display. Okay, which is going to be COUT, and here the person. So Jeff. Let's say I gave the name K before. So let's say K is looking at clocks. Okay, K is looking at clocks. No wait, K is looking at. Wait, we could rather go for the function, which is going to be like K is looking at the clock. All right, K is looking in the class. That's better. In the class. Or he's barging with his wide eyes looking in the class. All right, here is going to be another function. It's going to be whoops. All right, here we're going to display everything, which is going to be number of clocks, which is going to be equal to clocks, number of say you know what, we're gonna put some space in here. Remember to put some space here because things will get jumbled. All right, so number of books, which is equal to quotations, and then we're gonna put this books, and the final one, which is gonna be number of chairs. So number of chairs, right? So equal, and again we're going to put some things such as num chairs. Okay, so those are some of the basic codes. So we're going to end line there, which means that we're going to put a space. Now we created a thing. We created these things which are in straight lines. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is let it be that way, and I'm going to go to my. So basically we created a display function which displays the. So that's the display function which displays the things that are there in the class. So you might be wondering, where are the objects? So all we discussed was class, and the class that starts is like it starts from here and it ends in here with the semicolon. But where are the objects when that entire piece is a class? So my answer to you is the objects really come within these two braces, which is within the int main open closed braces. So we're going to add some objects in here, and the way you do it is you actually add the name of the class you want to add. So in here we have, as you can see, class 12. So we're just going to write the name of 12, and we're going to continue with our code. So 12, and we're going to give a name of object. So here we're just going to give object, and that's it. So, and what we're going to do is going to put a semicolon here, and now we are going to take this same object and use this object with this function, the display function. So we're going to attract the object with the display function in one line. So object and object display dot display open close braces and semicolon. That's when you get the thing. Now here is the place we're actually trying to CIN, let's say IN, get open close braces semicolon, and we're going to return the code say return 0, and let's check what happens here. Alright, I think if you are able to see the code, what I can do is I can like push in so that you can see the code. That's the best I can do. Alright, yep, there you go. Okay, so let me build and run and check what's happening in here, if the command is correct or no. Cin get. Okay, so basically what happened is get cin Okay, so I was just wondering if you were able to see this region. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chunk this off, this piece of code, before it just vibrates and vibrates and just moves out. Alright, I'm just gonna add another count function, which is gonna be it, pretty much it. And here what we're gonna do is we're gonna end our setup, which is gonna be with some stuff, which is going to be cool. I'm going to put some spaces in here just in case. End line in here. I'm just going to put one more space in here. End line in here. Actually, end line comes after this, so we're going to put ENDL line. Oops, whoops. ENDL. Alright. What we're going to do is we're going to put something else, some things here as well, or let's add another, no, let's just close it in here. It's cool. We're gonna add some space in here, and that's probably it. So we're gonna run it. Alright, one more thing. So this is a wrong code. This code is usually, whoops, we add this code to, you know, to display. That's it. So we will change the cin dot get with a function sort of open close brackets. And then in here we have got object.display. Again, this means that you're taking the same object that you created. Again, this object can be anything. This object can be anything, omnivorous or whatever. It can be anything. It could be omnivorous. It could be anything really. But why I'm writing objects is because it's going to be easy for you to understand what classes are and how objects really work. So let's run it and see what the gist is all about. So let's check everything is right. So basically we created a preprocessor header. We using namespace, and then we add the class, which starts from here, ends in here with a perfect semicolon. We created a display function within the class, and we created 3 statements that should run just fine. Alright, so we created at the end of the day a return function that should return 0 and a close braces within the integer main function. Alright, so let's go ahead and run our code and see what the code says. Code, what do you say? Let's ask code. Oh, this is a bit messed up, but it looks cool. Alright, K is looking in the class, number of clocks equals 1, number of books equals 12, number of chairs equals 23. That's awesome. That's just cool, and that's just amazing. The way it looks is just awesome. See, what basically classes, K is looking in the class. So what's happening here is this K is looking in the class. All of the things are getting printed. K is looking in the class. Number of clocks equals. So the clocks equal. Whoops. Number of clocks equals 1. So that's why we write just clocks, so the computer can understand that it's 1. Here we write number of books equals books. And why I chunked it out was because my screen is a bit, you know how it works while recording, so I had to like chunk it off so that you could see how things are. And that's how it is. So hope this was easy to understand, and that's it. Let's just play around a bit extra. So let's add something else. Instead of 12, we're going to change this to class class series, and let's create this object as Lambo1, and let's create this as Lambo1, and let's check what happens now. Alright, let's check if our code still runs. Even though we changed the name of the class, we changed the name of the object. Let's check. Should work, right? And create a return function just as the way things are. And let's build and run. Oh, whoops. Okay. Just gotta close this thing. Alright, let's check if it works. Okay, it works. It's just perfect. Thank you for watching. You're watching the coding series, and I hope you learned something from it. In the next series, we're gonna discuss some more examples. Hope you're ready to enjoy the course, having fun with C++. Goodbye.